Most important speeches of the 21st century, a Jewish man entered the hallowed place of the House of Representatives in Washington, and people called him Bibi. His name is not Bibi. His name is Binyamin. The equivalent of calling him Bibi is to call President Obama Barry, or John McCain Johnny, or John Kerry JJ. His name is Binyamin, and that's very significant because he came, as he said, right before the Jewish holiday of Purim. Both heroes of Purim, Mordechai and Esther, came from the tribe of Benjamin, or in Hebrew, Binyamin. So when the Jew whose name is Binyamin comes at a time when Persia is trying to find the means to destroy the entire people of Israel, which today comprise approximately 50% of all the Jews in the world. And this number gets larger, this percentage gets larger every day. The more anti-Semitic acts in Europe, the greater the number of Jews emigrate to Israel, the greater the percentage of Jews worldwide in this tiny state, size of New Jersey, 8,000 square miles. I want you to put that into perspective. The Islamic world stretches from North Africa, from the top half of the giant continent of Africa, which includes several million square miles, all the way across the globe to Indonesia. And they're trying to take over the Philippines as well. That means they span between 10 and 11,000 miles across, and they've got about 5 to 6 million square miles of Muslim areas. 5 to 6 million square miles. That's almost twice the size of the United States. They encompass 1.5 or 1.6 billion people. That's about more than 4 times the number of people in the United States. Israel is tiny. It is less than 1% of the Muslim territories. And yet, it is the focal point of the anger of just about all of the tyrannical Muslim governments. What is the reason? Because the Jews are called kafirs. But why the Jews more than other people? The answer is Islam wants to be the heir, just as Christianity wanted to be the heir to the Jews, to the Jewish prophets. Islam sees itself as the heir to the Jewish prophets. And therefore, the fact that there exists a people, still existing today, that have come back to their land and have taken over territories that had been controlled by Muslims is seen as a violation of their property rights and their religion. And so it's no wonder that the mullahs in Iran want to destroy Israel, because this represents a physical reality that is inconsistent with their beliefs. They want to tell their people, the Kool-Aid, that they are God's people, that they're doing God's will. And if that's the case, that how could Allah allow for the kafir to return to his land and take it away from the believers. And so they have to destroy Israel. And that's the background for this greatest speech of the 21st century. But his name is Binyamin, and he comes from the Jews. We don't know his tribal origins, but the fact that his name is Binyamin and he comes during the season of Purim, that's significant. And people should take note that just as the Benjaminites were successful, despite the machinations and the plans and all of the plotting that Haman made, they could not trap Mordechai. And he was successful where Haman wasn't. Haman was repudiated and died an ignoble death. Those who will fight Binyamin Netanyahu with his message, his sincere message, that there is danger, and that this danger does not just represent the Jewish people, but all of the people of the world. Now, I know the State Department thinks that it's better that if Israel did not exist. And if Israel did not exist, we could make peace with the Arab world. That's Pollyanna thinking. A kafir is a kafir is a kafir. If you don't believe in Islam, they have a right to kill you, to destroy you, to behead you. That's what they're doing with anybody they get a hold of. That's not a Muslim. Don't you understand that? You probably don't want to understand it because it's unpleasant. But take a look at the way they've treated the Coptic Christians in Egypt. Look at the way the Christians of Bethlehem have been treated by their Arab cousins. Bethlehem used to be 80% Christian, 20% Muslim. Today it's the opposite. Why? It's not because of the increasing birth of Muslims. It's that the Christians have fled because of fear. You have to get the truth across. And Binyamin Netanyahu got the truth across. And because Barack Obama is now, his popularity is waning, it would be a better policy for Barack Obama to embrace the truth. And I know that it's hard to change course, but not changing the course will ultimately be destructive to the Obama legacy and the Obama presidency. I've already said this in a previous video. It's too late, Mr. Obama. It may be too late to save your presidency, but it may not be too late to save your legacy. People will remember you if you abort the concessions to Iran. Continue the concessions, and you will be labeled as Neville Chamberlain #2, worse than #1.